Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Dela Criss. I'm a career coach, but really I dig into all things personal and professional development. I am super passionate about helping people figure out their gifts and helping them just walk in their calling and be able to do work that they love and create a life they love doing what they love is what I like to say. And so today we're going to be just jumping into this topic of what do you do when you hate your job? As you can imagine, just kind of the field I'm in and the work that I'm doing, I talk to tons of people who are just miserable and hate their job. And I've had this video in the queue for some time, but I just felt like I really need to put it out there. And hopefully it's helpful for you. If this type of stuff interests you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join me here every Thursday. And so before we jump into this topic, I just want to share some quotes with you, some stats rather that I found from Business Insider, just in case how miserable you feel isn't motivation enough for you to make a move or to make a change. These were shocking, guys. So let me share some of them with you. The average person spends more than 90,000 hours in a lifetime at work. And if you're in America, honestly, it's probably way more than that. That's 90,000 hours of feeling miserable if you hate your job. About 87% of Americans have no passion for their jobs. And then those that are married to alcoholics, they say that they also feel the stress. One third of UK managers said they're losing their sense of humor. That's so sad. Because of their jobs. 60% say jobs are making them lose sleep at night, not be able to sleep well. And a quarter of Americans say that their work is their number one stress. And then number one source of stress, And then in the U.S., stress from work is estimated to be the 5th biggest cause of death. And the last stat is really made me sad. In Japan, hundreds of Japanese workers die every year from death by work. That might be suicide or simply dropping dead at their desks. Y'all, this is a huge issue. And one of my favorite guiding scriptures around this, and if you're not Christian, I still feel like the wisdom behind it will be really good for you. Ecclesiastes 2:24, a person can do nothing better than to eat and drink and find satisfaction in their own toil. And so, y'all, this is huge. This is why I've made this like my life's work, just helping people really just take that next step, knowing what they love and being able to make a career out of that, and helping companies create cultures where people love to be there and they're not stressed and they're not just really hating what they do. Okay, so before we dive in, you're here because, either you hate your job or maybe you don't hate it, but you really dislike your job and you're looking to make a move. And so I want to start off by just giving you some guiding questions to ask yourself, because news shock, just because you hate your job doesn't necessarily mean you need to quit. And while I'm not an advocate for suffering through things for no reason, I am big on not rushing the process. And so I think these questions are going to help you kind of see what might be the next step for you. And so before you quit, before you even decide that you need to quit, really think through these questions. I think it'll be helpful. And this will be a 2-part video because this is such a heavy topic, guys. And so I'm going to give you some questions to reflect on this time. And the next time I'm going to kind of teach you my fight or flight method that I go over with my clients and deciding what to do next. So let's jump into the questions. I have notes here. I don't want to get any of them wrong. The first one is there responsibility that needs to be taken care of while you're at this job? And so this might be a really obvious one, but is there debt that needs to be paid off? Are you saving for a house? Are you paying for school? Is there an end goal in mind? So that's helpful because then like, I hate it here or I really don't like this job, but I have a goal. And once I reach that goal, I'm making some drastic changes and I'm getting myself out of this miserable situation. So that's the first question. The second one, is there a particular character being built in you? Or is there like a character trait that you need to grow in this season? So for example, are you learning patience? Are you learning humility? Because maybe you hate your job because you think it's insignificant. But let me tell you, those jobs where I felt like I was just doing things just to be doing them, or just felt like what I was doing wasn't important, they built something in me. They built character in me that I depend on, so greatly in this season. So don't take that lightly. Or maybe you're learning what not to do from your leadership team. Right? Maybe maybe you're under some leadership that you're just not very proud of, and they're teaching you the things that are important for you not to do whenever you're in that role. Number 3, is there a skill that you need to master? Because sometimes you really hate your job and you think, oh my gosh, this is horrible, but really you're not there to do a job. You're there to learn a skill for free, or really being paid to learn that skill. And here's what I mean by that. I was at a job that I didn't really hate, but I didn't love it, and I knew that it wasn't long-term and wasn't aligned with my gifts, and it was an Excel intense job, and so the Excel program is what I'm talking about, and so I had to master that. So I got to learn this skill while getting paid, which is probably something I need to learn anyways. And it's been really helpful for me now running my own business. Those skills I was able to transfer to now. So maybe there's a skill that you need to learn and you need to master. That's in turn going to be really helpful for the next job that you get that you love. It might set you apart from everyone else, or it might just be something that you just need in your tool bag anyways. So the 4th one is, are there relationships that you need to foster? I can do, and probably will do, a whole video on the significance of relationships and being able to find and do work that you love. I could talk about this forever, but here's what I'll say. A lot of times where you are, the job you're doing, is less about the actual job and more about the people that you're doing the job with. The people that you're working with could be there could be a person there that gets you the next job that you get. And what I mean by that, this happens all the time. It's happened to me. It's happened to everyone around me. Someone may leave and get another job, and because of the relationship that you had at the previous job, they may be the one to put in a word for you and help you get that next job. And so look around. Is there someone, or maybe they will be the person that you go into business with. You never know. So look around at your job. Is there someone that you adore, or even someone that you just like a little bit, right? Start to be really intentional with that relationship, fostering that relationship, maybe eating lunch together, instead of working in your office, work in their office, and it's not being fake. It's just fostering a relationship. You have to be intentional about relationships. This is huge. And so, yeah, you just never know what's going to come of that. If nothing else, it makes going to work less miserable until you can actually make the jump and actually make the move, right? Number 4, is there, or is this 5? I forget. I think it's 5. Is there a problem that needs to be solved that could lead you, to your next thing? And so here's what I mean by this. While I was at my last job, I just saw the culture, and it killed me seeing that there are people there that hated what they did, when their little tweaks could be made within the company culture to really make these people enjoy what they were doing, and really make them lifelong employees. And so I kept seeing that. I kept seeing these small things, having these conversations with people, and doing little things that I could in my small role to make the culture better. But that led me to my business and what I do now. And so that's what I'm asking you. Is there a software there that you use every day that you're like, this is horrible? Maybe you can make something better. Is there a problem there that you can find the solution to and then eventually be able to capitalize on? Or maybe that's your next thing. So, yeah. I have these questions for you. I want you to chew on these until next week. Hopefully this was helpful, y'all. I know what it feels like to be in a job that you hate, or just feel stuck, or just feel like, oh my gosh, there has to be something better out there besides going in day after day doing this and slowly dying. And y'all, there is a better life out there. There is, it will get better. I do believe in seasons. And so if this is just the season you're in and you're like, you know what, your questions were helpful and maybe it's not time for me to jump ship right now. Maybe I do need to just be all in But next week I'll tell you my fight or flight method, I like to call it, and I'll just let you know, like, if it is your season to stay at this job, what does it look like to fight for maybe some small changes that can make your job a little less miserable, or flight. Maybe it is time to set that date and put some goals in place before you set that date. And so hopefully this was helpful. If this is helpful for you, like I said, hit that subscribe button, and meet me here every Thursday. If you need a little more one-on-one attention, don't be afraid. Shoot me the email. I always do a little 30-minute complimentary call. Yeah, I don't want you to stay stuck, and so that's why I just went ahead and put this out here. I'm putting this video out ahead of schedule, but I just felt like people really need this. And so I'll see you next Thursday for part 2 of the video. Bye, guys.